What is up, you guys? So today I'm going to show you guys how to make a bass chopper for type of like tech house type of stuff in Sylenth. Really easy to do. And if you guys have my bank, my Sylenth bank, you're already almost completely halfway done, because all I do is I open up one of the presets from my bank that I made, which is on my Facebook page. It's there, and I just kind of modified it a little bit. So I'll show you guys what this bass chopper exactly is. It's mixed down pretty low, so it might not be easy to hear, especially with the YouTube settings and all that stuff. So here we go. This is it. I have a little bit of sidechain on this, so I'll turn that off. Whoops, I turned it off on the wrong thing. Here we go. And then with the sidechain in, I'm just curving it a little bit to be around the kick. So, you know, if I mix this up a little bit so it's kind of easier to hear in the context of the song, it's a pretty cool little tech house thing that I like to do. It ends up in most tech house things I do. So it's just kind of a texture that I like to add in. It's not really a lead. So anyway, I'm just kind of going to show you guys how to do this now, so it's very easy. So all I have going on here on the MIDI, first off, is I'm just holding a G2 note. So there's nothing fancy in the MIDI going on. It's not being played by notes. I'm just holding down one note, and I just have a little bit of a high pass on this. And again, like I showed you, some sidechain. Now, and all we did in Sylenth, just make sure you initialize your preset first to get started, or just go to my bank bass thingy number 21. That's the K-State bank. So Oscillator 1, we just have one voice, a saw wave, 2 octaves down. So it's pretty low because we're playing a G2 and we're gonna tune this down 2 octaves anyway. And let's see, the volume's up all the way, phase detuned down all the way to the left, stereo up all the way to the right, and of course it didn't touch pan. The ADSR, the main amp for envelope A, or part A's envelope, looks pretty much like default. So release is at 0.10, attack is at 0.05, decay all the way down, sustain all the way up. So that's kind of default settings, I think. Now for Oscillator 2 and part A, we are also going to bring this down -2 octaves, sine wave to kind of mix in with that saw wave, so it's kind of going to give it a more bass feel because of that sine wave, and that's going to be on one voice as well. Phase detune all the way down. It's pretty much the exact same settings as Oscillator 1, except this is a sine wave. Now for the filter, we have a low pass, and the drive is set to 2.29, the 12 dB slope, so you know it doesn't cut off as quickly as the 24 dB slope. Resonance up all the way, cutoff that's at 1896.44 hertz. And now for our filter control, so pretty much the filters that the filter control that controls A and B. So that's on 2004.39 hertz. Reso is at 1.62. Key track is at 3.24, and we have warm drive on. So let's do part B, and then we'll get into the effects and the arpeggiator and the envelopes. So also you might have noticed that I have monolingato on. So the polyphony up here really doesn't matter. You can have it set to 1. And we have the portamento time on 5.19, and this is on normal, not slide. So now for part B, actually does not look like I used part B, so very simple. And let's see, so let's go to the mod envelope 1. So I did use this, and I put the amount of cutoff A and B, so I selected cutoff A and B right here. I selected that amount, and I brought the parameter down, -0.29. So let's see, the attack all the way down, sustain all the way down, release all the way down. So all I really did was just add a little bit of decay at 2.13. So what's that really going to do? It's going to kind of just detune it slightly downward, and it kind of makes it more I don't want to say chorusy, but it just adds that detunement to the overall sound, so it's kind of a nice thing. So let's turn off the arpeggiator. So this is kind of what we have here. Let me... So we have a nice bass right there. So now what I did was I just added this arpeggiator. I think this is what I did to this setting here. I just added the arpeggiator, so when you hold down a note, it kind of has this like gallop to it, this bouncing. So on the mode, I put it on up, velocity on key. So you know, you have all these different modes and all different types of velocity triggering. So just the typical arpeggiator, and we're going to set the timing to 1/16, gate to 20.95%, and that's it. I don't really mess with the transposition velocity that much. I kind of like to, if I'm going to add different transpositions and things like that, I usually leave that in the MIDI notes and not really down here. But you could do it since you're holding down one note in this case. So that's really the arpeggiator stuff right there. So now for the EQ, I just brought the bass stuff all the way up, the treble all the way up, and treble frequency all the way down. So, you know, without it, you're going to have something like this. And that's really it. So like I said, it was really, really simple. And I'm thinking about doing a tech house from scratch type track series. So I'll make a tech house type track completely from scratch, space it across 6 videos, maybe anywhere from half an hour to hour long per each video. But I really have to find the time to do it, but I will find the time because I've been wanting to do that like for a long time, because tech house stuff is kind of interesting with all the delay effects, and it really has its own sound design technique. So I feel like that'd be a really nice thing to show off to producers who have never heard tech house or have never tried producing it. So all that said, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff for free things, especially on my Facebook, and lates, you guys. Step.